Okay, and then this is where you want to start reading. Uh, PDF page 14, the Manifesto of the Communist Party, the famous opening line, "A specter is haunting Europe," and then you're going to the first part, bourgeois and proletarians here. So I've annotated things in a couple different ways here. One, you can notice here, the paragraphs are all constructed as numbers: 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So that's what I did with Nietzsche, and that's sort of a biblical move or a Shakespearean move, right? It makes it a lot easier to cite by book, chapter, verse, right? So that's what we want. We want a close reading, right? We don't want to be vague. You want to try to specify exact paragraphs and passages and go from there. Okay, so that's been done to make things easier, right? The whole first part has been done that way. I did not continue that in the second part. Here are some um, just sort of highlighting, sort of, you know, interesting points or interesting phrasings, right? Things you should be aware of or that I note. And then over here on the right, I've tried to sort of put a question, right? A conceptualized question or a categorical type question, which will lead back to the podcast scripts, or as you're reading, it's just sort of contextualizing for you. It's giving you this sort of bigger picture, right? So oftentimes when we read, we're spending all this time trying to figure out what's going on, and we're not always like being generative or synthesizing or thinking the big picture. So that's what these annotations are trying to do. So I give you some for example, here, when he starts talking about class, right? Well, at that point, you should go back to the podcast script notes. If you're not really sure what class is, read that. And then this question here is trying to get you to think about class in our own time, right? Do we consider this to be still a category as Marx famously made it? Yeah, and so this continues throughout the text, right? So again, this is all keyword stuff on the right here that I've indicated, right? Here, indicating some of the more famous or more important sort of quotations, right? This quotation here, like in 117, you can almost, there's a lot going on. And so it's a nice little lowest common dynamic to work with. And that continues throughout the first part of the text. So I would recommend reading this annotated version first, and or I'm pointing it out first, and then you can